the Open Orchard project started really when we came to Riverton. We wanted to put in some fruit trees here, and an old man, Mr Pankhurst, who was a sawmiller, we were building a house, he said, what you need is the old heritage varieties, and he had an 1866 orchard. And so he taught us how to graft, and so he grafted and planted his trees as their first ones. And then I thought maybe there's some more that I should collect. And it's a little bit like stamp collecting, you have to have the next set and the next set. So in our property we started with his 15 trees, and we ended up with about 80 trees from around Riverton area, all the old settlers' trees. And they're very beautiful because they're all shapes and sizes and so different than the standard ones in the shop. So some are for cider, some are long keeping, some are lovely eating ones, and I was just amazed at the diversity. And we called it Open Orchard because we wanted this lovely resource the settlers brought to be shared without being patented and made a commercial thing, so like open source software kind of thing. So we send the apple varieties all over New Zealand as little cuttings, because every apple is a clone of something way back in the days. And so the project is very romantic. You go to the old settlers' farms and you see the old house or the remains of the house and lovely orchards. And so I've been privileged with our team to go to over 120 farm remnants around Southland. We've saved that diversity. We've grafted the sticks off the original ones, the only way you can pass them on, and some are going to be 700 years old or older, the variety, and then put them into parks around Southland. And so there's 10 so far, and then there'll be 14 orchard parks. There we have a website, scs.org.nz, and the list is on there. And so now, I've got an average, I've got like 10 half-acre sections. It's all owned by communities, whether it's a hall section or the green waste paddock or their council land. They're there, and people love them. Like at Tuatapere, the whole community board came and helped plant them, and the high school. And so people are saying that, are really liking the fact that it's a gift from our group, but it's a gift that belongs to them. It's their collection, it's their town's one. It's nice to put smiles on the people's faces of the communities. It's really lovely how they feel. And we couldn't get a place in Winton. A daughter of an old mayor said her father would have loved the project, and they had given 2 metres off their land for a walkway along the stream kind of thing. She said, we'll just give another 2 metres to the orchard project. And so now that park there is, you follow the walkway from Moore Road, and there's the sign and then all the trees. You walk around, you see the whole collection from the Winton area. So it's really lovely to have found a place. Yeah, so the sites are open to the public, and each one's got a Friends of an Orchard Park little club. So the Friends of the Tuatapere Orchard Park, they gather once a season, and in winter they prune the fruit trees and have a thermos of soup. In spring, when the blossom's out, they will look after the smaller trees with some manure or compost and plant some wildflowers. And in autumn they have another picnic, and they harvest the fruit that's still on the trees and share it around their community. So people can join Friends of Orchard Park of any of them, just in their neighbourhood or one where their family came from. But they can visit any time, and when the fruit's on we say just help yourself to a handful, don't take them all. So people can just go and we have the idea that if they come off easily, they're ready. If you have to tug them, they'll be too bitter and not taste nice. So just don't have the ones that you have to pull off, they're not ready. And teaching people about how to harvest. And the harvest in the Southland is from late January right through to August. So it's quite a long season. I think it's really lovely just to think that these are treasures, they really are, and some of them is the only one left in the world. Southland's got the only trees. The original place where they grew, the trees died, or there's been a war or urban expansion, and so we're getting sought after now by people overseas, want to know what we've got in their collection, and there's a new site called Fruit ID, and they're DNA testing them. So we're applying for funds to DNA test this collection, which will match up to more names. It's hard to identify them. I only know 10% of apples' names. I've got 90% I don't know what they are or where they're from. So it's very exciting to match up with the international network, and they've already had people coming from overseas to visit, so it's pretty exciting.